Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So, guys, I am in a party for this one, just because it was extremely loud. I didn't really want to turn the volume down for myself, so I'm just going to put myself in a party. So you're probably going to overhear me more than the game itself, which is fine. But, you guys know how this is. If we, end up in Warframe, then it usually means one of two things. One, I'm showing you guys something, or two, I am doing a versus, and today we are doing our final versus as of this point. The latest prime is actually our next versus that I've calculated, so this is actually going to be our last versus for a while, probably, guys. So yeah. So we are on our final prime, guys, and our prime today is Titania. So she was the last prime. So she is the most current, one of the most current primes, and she is rather unique. I would say she's definitely support frame if you guys are into that. But she does have one ability that is really good for attack, and I will happily show you guys that. But, yeah, so we have Titania, guys. She is pretty much the fairy frame. That's pretty much what most of us like to call her. She has her own quest. She is the Silver Grove quest, if you guys are wondering where you get her. But obviously the prime is more something you have to build yourself or whatever. So, yeah. So I'm bringing my cat with me today, guys. We have Navi with us today. So we're gonna have a fun little sport here with us. It's another thing too. That's another reason why I ended up in a party, because she is really loud. So kind of need to actually be able to talk to you guys, right? So you guys can understand me. So yeah. All right. So let's get started, guys. So here is Titania Prime, guys. This is how she normally looks. This is not she's not edited in any way. Hold on, guys. I gotta go get the dog. Right, guys. Sorry about that. So, anyways, so as I was saying, this is how she normally looks. I have no deluxe skin on her or anything like that. This is just normally how she looks. She is one of the only frames as of now that actually floats. So that's one little fun feature about her. And her passive ability is actually kind of unique as well. So when you like jump and glide in the air and stuff, you create like these little like stream type things, like streamline, or I don't know what to call them exactly, but your allies can actually use them to help jump up and everything, so it's really cool. So she has kind of a unique passive as well. So just wanted to point that out. But as you guys can see, she actually has two weapons. She doesn't have one, she has two. She has obviously a pair of guns, and she has a sword. So these weapons, they do rank up with her. So if you guys just got her and you're like, okay, why is she taking so long to rank up? This is probably why, because she has two weapons, and I think she's the only frame that has two on her in general. So just an FYI on that, guys, for you guys, if you're wondering why she's taking so long to rank up, that is why. So yeah, so there you have it, guys. And as you guys can see on her right hand side, we have her abilities. We have Spellbound, Tribute, Lantern, and Razor Wing. Along with her prime, she was kind of buffed a little bit. Is it Tribute? I think it's Tribute that was changed the most. But, that one, actually has multiple choices now to it. It doesn't just have the one, it has multiple choices to it now. And each one kind of does something different, kind of gives a different buff, so... I mean, I apologize if I don't get those buffs exactly right, but... yeah, so each one kind of gives buffs. She definitely is support, like I mentioned earlier, because she gives a lot of buffs to your allies when they destroy, like, certain targets that you marked or whatever. So she's definitely more support if you guys are into that. So yeah. You know what, actually, let's go back in and look at her abilities, because I know her tribute has changed a lot. Yeah, so tribute, it cycles through an exact one of 4 buffs when cast on an enemy. Thorns, dust, full moon, or entangled. Survivors' attacks are weakened. So it weakens our enemies, but also helps your allies because it gives them buffs. So, as you guys can see, Thorns does damage, Dust does hit chance, Full Moon does damage, health, and armor, so that one is pretty sweet, and then Entangled reduces their speed. So, yeah, so this is the ability I was talking about, guys, that they changed recently. This is the one that was changed the most recently. So yeah, so we got a couple choices, but obviously it's a bunch of buffs, as you guys can see, so... but I will still show you the buffs in action just because. Give you an idea of what they look like and whatever else. As you guys can see, I'm floating. This is what I mean. She just floats. She just glides around. She kind of just like, she's pretty chill. She just glides around. Which is pretty cool. Like I said, she's the only frame that does this right now. None of the other frames really do this. They walk. Majority of the frames walk. Even the original Titania, I think she just walks as well, so. Alright. So I do have my enemies set up already. We're going to do some Elite Frontier Lancers. And obviously we have my cat with me, guys. So we have my cat. So we will play with our cat today. But let's go. So we got Spellbound is our first ability. And it did not activate for some reason. Give me a second, guys. Let's get rid of some of these guys to help us out here. Okay, come on. Alright, there we go. So this is what Spellbound does, guys. So it kind of lifts them off the ground, and it slowly starts hurting them. So it's kind of like a distraction, sort of, in a way. Oh, we got a bomb over there. We're not going over there. They're attacking my cat, guys. Sorry about that. And as you guys can see, that ability is actually kind of iffy. I think it actually activates once you attack. Okay, so it kind of activates once you attack, which is kind of interesting. It kind of does a mini one. Once you activate it. But that's literally what Spellbound does. It just lifts the enemy up, so they're up higher, and kind of, it's a distraction kind of ability. But it does slowly hurt them, so there's that. And I should probably point this out to you guys. Majority of her abilities, she does need an enemy to use them on. So she can't just like activate them and then they'll just do their thing, like a lot of frames. But you actually need a target for them to work for a lot of them. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that. But yeah, so Spellbound just pretty much spellbounds them and lifts them up in the air, so they're kind of floating there. And then you could just destroy them. I think it could give you a buff, I think. I'm not quite sure. I think it does give you a slight buff to something. I'm not sure what exactly, but we killed those guys really fast. So we'll pull out them again. Alright, so now we have all the tribute abilities. So first one is Thor, or, oh, we have Dust actually first. And then we got Full Moon. I'll just pick a couple enemies here to put them on, guys. Entangled and Thorn. Alright, so that's all 4 of them on the field. As you guys can see, it floats them. But literally what it does is it just... once you destroy them, it gives you that buff. As you guys can see, it has a count. There's a countdown on the... next to our stuff. As you guys can see, there's a countdown there. And I think it activates, yeah, it's activated for a while, as you guys can see on my counter on the ability down there, towards the abilities. You can see that it's counting down. These buffs can last a long time if you guys mod them correctly. And the fact that I'm glowing that means one is activated. That's pretty much what it means. But they obviously all have their own symbols, obviously. I think you can activate multiple ones, actually. It looks like you can, because we have 2 of them going at the same time, as you guys can see. We got Thorns going on right now, and we had Entangled as well. So that's one cool thing about her, is that her attribute ability, like all these abilities that just stack up on each other. So you can give multiple buffs to everyone, which is really cool. So, so obviously, Entangled's the one that slows them down. Thorns, gives you more damage on them. And then Dust was, what was Dust, guys? I don't remember what Dust was. But, I think it was, that wasn't the speed buff, no, because Entangled was the speed buff. I think Dust was the... oh, that was the hit chance one. Dust was hit chance, and then we have Full Moon that gave you a plus on everything, pretty much. So speed, health, damage, pretty much is what it did. So her tribute ability is really good, just because it can stack, like we saw. So, but the ones I highly suggest you guys use is Entangled and Full Moon, because those 2 seem to be the best of the 4. But, I mean, it's totally up to you. If you need to buff your team in some way, like you need to give them more speed or whatever. It really just depends on you. But yeah, so that's her tribute ability. That's the one that they recently changed and buffed and kind of updated a little bit. So that's kind of different on her. And then we have, as you guys can see, it says invalid target when I'm trying to use it. So you do need a target for a lot of her abilities, like I mentioned earlier. It's mostly her first 3. But our next ability is... it's not tribute, we just did tribute. It's the other one. Oh shoot. I'm flying off all over the place. It's fine. But let me see here. Hold on, guys. Sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. It's fine. Alright, so we're gonna launch our enemies again. So we did Spellbound already. We did Tribute. And here's our last one. Lantern. Alright, so Lantern is her best distraction ability. So this ability, it's similar to Spellbound. As you guys can see, the enemies are distracted by this guy that I have triggered a lantern on. And he just kind of sits there, spins around, and floats around. But after some time, he will explode. As you guys can see, he just exploded. So, I think Lantern's one of the ones I use personally a lot myself. Just because it is a great distraction perk, ability I mean. Because eventually he does explode. So if enemies are distracted by him and they're trying to shoot at him and everything, and then they shoot at him, after a while he's gonna explode after a while. So yeah, as you guys can see, they're distracted by him. And they're getting hurt by him as well. I'm not doing any of this. They're getting hurt themselves by them. So that's another thing. So they'll slowly be attracted to him, and then he'll just like straight up explode and take them out. So Lantern is definitely a great ability, guys. I think that's probably one of her best abilities, I think, honestly. I think they changed that one as well recently, because I think it was only meant to be like a distraction. And that was it. They didn't really do much else for you, but I think they did buff it so it does cause damage when the enemies are getting close to it and they're like, ooh, look at that. And then they just explode spontaneously at some point. So that ability does damage, so that one is a good ability. So yeah, sorry guys, I don't really have much to say about her. I mean, she's good, but definitely her ability, she's kind of unique to use and everything, so kind of just have to mess with her. And then we have our final ability, guys. We're gonna trigger Lantern, I think, though. And then we're gonna trigger our final ability. And our final ability is always the best ability. As you guys can see, we're shrunk. We are tiny. Look at how tiny we are, guys. And this is the Razor Wing one. As you guys can see, I can trigger. This is where her weapons come in. So, we have the guns. And we have our sword. But literally what it does is it shrinks us down to our tiny little fairy form. And then we have our butterflies, which are our allies flying around us, and they create damage while we're going against our enemies. So they do attack our enemies while we're in this form. As you guys can see, I just used my guns. So this is where her two weapons come in for sure. As you guys can see, my little butterflies are attacking him, and they slowly will kill him. So I think this ability is probably her most fun ability, just because you can fly around, be itty bitty, fly around, cause major damage. So that ability is definitely her best ability, no doubt. So that ability is super fun to play if you guys like to fly around and be mischief and stuff. That's just a fun little ability that she has. But it's definitely her best one for sure, next to Lantern. So there you have it, guys. There is the little lowdown on Titania. Prime. At this point, we don't really look for differences much, because I don't think we're really gonna find any at this point. I think they pretty much are the same either way. They're just, one's just stronger than the other one. So it's just really looks and their strength, really, at this point. But I will pull out my regular Titania just so we can see. So that was Titania Prime, guys. And here is our final and last frame for a bit. And you know me, I gotta change all my colors, make them match, because it drives me crazy otherwise. Alright, guys. So here is my Titania. This is my regular one. This is her deluxe skin, guys. So this is her beautiful skin. This skin is probably one of my favorites we've had recently, because it goes with her very well. I like it. I do like it. It's got a kind of fairy mystical feel to it. I dig that. Her energy on the back of her little skirt thing is amazing. I love it. It's beautiful. So, yeah, guys, so this is her deluxe skin, if you guys are wondering what her deluxe skin looks like. This is it for sure. And as you guys can see, she's walking. So, it's only Titania Prime who floats. She's the only of the two that float. Because, this one has no way to really hover, I think. That's probably why. Like, when she's just standing still, yeah, she'll hover. But as you guys can see, she just walks around just like any other frame, so that makes Titania Prime very unique because of that, so. Alright, so we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna see if we find any differences. Like I said, I really don't think we will, but we might as well try and see. Okay, so here is Spellbound. It's pretty much the same. Her energy's a little darker on this. Her energy's a little darker. But and then we have Thorns. Or not Spellbound, that's Spellbound, sorry. We have Thorns. Then we got Lantern. Like I said, her energy's a little darker. So it's gonna be a little harder to see on her. But let's do Dust now. So that's what Dust looks like. And I think we got everyone, but here's Full Moon. So obviously it has the same effect. It kind of does like makes them all weird looking, and then it has the symbol above them that marks what kind they were, what buff they have on them. And here's Entangled. So yeah, so I'm gonna say that we're probably not gonna find much differences besides the fact that they're just different colors. But let's see here. Okay, so we did do Lantern a little bit ago, but I will do it again for you guys. We'll spawn in the enemies again, and then we'll do our final one. Okay. So here's Lantern. Same idea. The enemy floats, and they get distracted by them. They start attacking them, and then they start getting hurt by them, and they die. And I think once their health goes down, I think that's when they possibly can explode. So we'll see if... Yeah, so they're just getting slowly killed by him, but... And then we have our final building, guys, Razor Wing. And this is what she looks like with her deluxe skin. So it's really, she's really cool looking. She definitely changes depending on what skin you put on her. Because you technically had to make two different kind of skins for her, sort of. But this is what her deluxe skin looks like when she's in her major fairy form. As you guys can see, same thing. Our butterflies are attacking. They're killing, attacking. They're loving it every moment. They're vicious little butterflies, that's for sure. Yeah, so that's kind of one of her more unique things to look out for is when you put a skin on her, what she looks like in this form. Because this form is pretty unique to her, so So, and as you guys can see, we can see our little razor wings flying around us. But, we're gonna deactivate it. And there you have it, guys. So there is the fairy frame, Titania. Like I said earlier, she's pretty unique. She's interesting to play. She can be fun as well, obviously, from her final ability. And yeah, guys, so that's pretty much it. And so I went over. We didn't really see any differences like I expected. It seems like they're trying to make the regular and the primes pretty much the same, like effects and stuff. So I mean, not much is gonna change for them really, but it is always fun to go look at these things just to see, you know. So there you have it, guys. There's Titania for you guys. Inaros is the current prime. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't know when exactly I will have him like available, really, because I'm not really like in a major rush to get him right now. So I mean, but I will totally get him for you guys, obviously, at some point. So this series might disappear from the channel for a little bit, but I will always make sure to come back to it once I do get to that point. So I'm glad you guys have liked this series. I have not minded doing it. It's nice to just go through each frame and just give a little couple tips here and there, and then just to see if there's any major differences with them, which we have found. We have found some really interesting things. So thank you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video.